Hiber-Nation 20. Grizzly's Growls presents Stories from the Hiber-Nation. A handy guide for beggars, especially those of the poetic fraternity, by Vachel Lindsay. Part 2. A Mendicant Pilgrimage in the East. Near Shikshini, the story of the hospitality of a promising family in a coal mining region. Part 4. The Grandsons of the King. After the supper, the dishes waited. The wife said, "Now we will have the poetry." I said in my heart, maybe this is the one house in 100 where the seed of these verses will be sown upon good ground. We went into the parlor, distinguished as such by the battered organ. The mother had Frank and Jimmy sit in semicircle with her and Big Frank while I plunged into my rhymed appeal. After the dynamite of the day, I did not hesitate to let loose the thunders. I did not hesitate to pause and expound, the poem being, as I have before described, many stanzas on the heroes of history, with the refrain ever and anon, "God help us to be brave." No, kind and flattering reader, it was not above their heads. Earnestness is earnestness everywhere. The whole circle grasped that I really expected something unusual of those boys with the black diamond eyes, no matter what kind of perversity was in them at present. I said, in so many words, as a beginning, that nitroglycerin was not the only force in the world, that there was also that dynamite called the power of the soul, and that detonation called fame. But I did not dwell long upon my special saints, Francis of Assisi and Buddha, nor those other favorites who some folk think contradict them, Phidias and Michelangelo. I dwelt on the strong, Alexander, Caesar, Mohammed, Cromwell, Napoleon, and especially upon the lawgivers, Confucius, Moses, Justinian, and dreamed that this ungoverned strength before me that had sprung from the loins of King Cole might some day climb high, that these little wriggling, dirty-fisted grandsons of that monarch might yet make the world some princely reparation for his crimes. After the reading, the mother and father said solemnly, "It is a good book." Then the wife showed the other 2 pieces of printed matter in the household, a volume of sermons, and a copy of The House of 1,000 Candles. "You've read that work about the candles. The sermons were by Reverend Wood M. Smithers. You do not know the Reverend Mr. Smithers? Why, he has collected in one fair volume all the sermons that ever put you to sleep, an anthology of all those discourses that are just alike." She said she had read them over and over again to the family. I believed it. There was butter on the page. I said in my heart, she is not to be baffled by any phraseology. If she can get a kernel out of Wood M. Smithers, she will also derive strength from my rhyme. She promised she would have each of the boys pick out one of the 26 great men for a model, as soon as they were schooled enough to choose. She put the poem in the kitchen table drawer, where she kept some photographs of close relatives, and I had the final evidence that I had become an integral part of the family tradition. Part 5. On to Shikshini. They send me up to bed. I put out the lamp at once, lest I should see too much. I went to sleep quickly. I was as quickly awakened. Being a man of strategies and divertissements, I reached through the blackness to the lamp that was covered with leaked oil. I rubbed this on my hands, and thence thinly over my whole body. Coal oil too thick makes blisters. thin enough brings peace. I remember breakfast as a thing apart. Although the table held only what we had for supper, warmed over, although the morning light was gray and the room was the worse for the gray light, the thing I cannot help remembering was the stillness and tenderness of that time. Father and mother spoke in subdued human voices. They had not yet had occasion to shout against the alarms and excursions of the day. And the sensitive faces of the boys, and the half-demon, half-angel light of their eyes, stirred me with marveling and reverence for the curious protean ways of God. And now I was walking down the steeps of Avernus into Shikshini toward the smoke of torment that ascends forever. Underfoot was spread the same dark leprosy that yesterday had stunted flower and fruit and grass blade. I hated King Cole still, but not so much as of yore. Thanks for listening to Stories from the Hiber-Nation. Comment on the website at grizzly.libsyn.com. This program is sponsored by donations from people like you and is released with a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives license.